Yeah, and I'm purposefully keeping it a little bit above the crotch, so it's not just like
right on my.
Yeah. Are you not the cutest thing I've ever seen? Okay, sweet. This actually looks really good. Okay.
Yay! Biscuit. Shh. No, we don't need to do that. Oh my gosh. Go to sleep, Biscuit. Going up.
Maybe. Okay. Are you ready?
I think so.
Yay! Okay, what's your name?
Deanna Davenport.
And how old are you?
I am 40 years old.
Okay. So, Deanna, who are you on a soul level?
Who am I on a soul level? I think my best answer to that would be that I am the universe experiencing itself. And I say that quoting the late Alan Watts. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
I've heard of his book.
He has many, many books. He was a philosopher.
Okay.
But his actual quote was, "You are the universe experiencing itself." So that's kind of where I come back to and where I start from.
Okay. So is there anything currently going on or anything that's happened in your life that has brought you to this place, like that makes you this person?
I've always had that sentiment, but now the older I get, it just feels like it's getting more concrete and more substantial. And it's almost like the more or the less that I have to hold on to, the more that it's actually there. So.
Okay. So I'm going to give you 3 categories.
Okay.
And I want you to tell me what means the most to you or takes a front seat in your life. And then, we'll trickle down into like what kind of takes a back seat.
Okay.
So the first category is love, sex, and relationships. The next category is society, culture, and politics. And then the third is spirituality and or religion. And you can mix and match those however you want to. And obviously there's so many things that go into those categories.
Definitely.
So I'm just going to let you talk about what means the most, and then we'll just like go down with each of them.
Well, I would say right now, with the environment that I'm living in and where my journey's at, would be love, sex, and relationships is what kind of sticks out first and foremost. And that really, this past year, I've made a lot of big changes, and I came out as gay. I was in a heterosexual marriage.
How long were you married?
We were married 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's been a big change.
Yeah. Okay, so love, sex, and relationships, all 3 are at the top for you? Or is it just like relationships?
Well, it's kind of a whole.
Yeah.
I mean, really, they kind of all fit into one. So my sexuality, definitely affected the relationships that I was in.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't, getting the fulfillment that I needed there and able to express myself. So that definitely affected those relationships and does now.
Right.
Because I'm living my truth. So.
Yay.
Yay.
I love that so much.
Am I supposed to be drawing yet?
No,
no?
not
Okay.
yet, but soon.
Okay.
So what comes next for you after love, sex, and relationships?
What was the third category again?
Spirituality.
Spirituality.
Yeah, and or religion. But I take it you're not religious.
I am not religious.
Okay.
However, I do appreciate ritual.
Mm-hmm.
And so I take, that really means a lot to me when someone is passionate enough about their spirituality with different ritual aspects. And I kind of, have an eclectic blend of those that I use in my own practice from time to time. Spiritual, I don't know if I would even call it, say that I'm spiritual. I'm just energetic. It's really just on an energy level, where I try to stay in tune with the universe and keep perspective there. So it's very broad. I don't even really feel comfortable putting it into any category.
Yeah.
Really. So.
Have you always been like that, like since you were little, or was there a time where you started, I guess, experimenting with like crystals and tarot and things like that, or have you always been kind of interested in like the occult?
Since adolescence, I've been interested in the occult.
Okay.
I grew up in a traditional Methodist Southern Tennessee church. Never really, hit home for me there. So definitely as soon as I was able to see more, I was interested in more. And I've always questioned everything. So with the crystals and the cards, and the boards and different things that I use, I really just see them as tools to facilitate getting back in contact with who we really are, on that energetic level, because I think we're clouded and veiled by our egos and just our culture a lot. So it just kind of quiets all of that to where we can just listen to the message that we have, within us already.
Sweet.
So yeah, just as tools. I definitely use them as tools. So they're not like the begin all, end all.
Yeah.
And I definitely have the opinion that for me, there's no right way or wrong way as long as you're getting something out of it. That any type of practice where you can just be present and still and experience really all of the five senses. I think that's really beneficial in reducing anxiety and bringing you down to more of a meditative present state, which is ideal for me. So
Okay. What advice would you have to give to someone who's kind of like searching for their truth in that, like within themselves, within their sexuality, within their spiritual practices, like, because I mean, I can speak for myself in my 20s where I'm just like all over the place. So like, what advice do you have to people who are kind of just trying to figure it out and kind of don't know which way to go?
Okay, I like that you said that you feel like you're all over the place, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think to just experience everything that you can, or everything that you at least have a desire for. If it piques your interest, then kind of follow that and see where that leads. But I think taking everything with a grain of salt, but yet remaining present and really giving the full opportunity for something, whatever you're trying to unfold. But I think as you just experience, just life experience, and that you're going to build, all of that's going to build, and it's lost my train of thought. But I think that yes, experiencing everything. I mean, I've just been so many different people and have tried so many different things, and it all adds facets to the person that we are.
Yeah.
And just more more refraction, more rainbows.
True.
I just think not allowing other people's opinions and judgment to play a role. And I know family, that's been the hardest thing for me, is not getting always the support that I feel like I should be given. Even when a lot of times those things come out of love from people, they're very attacking and very aggressive, and very toxic. So sometimes you have to make decisions where you choose yourself, and everyone or no one may agree with it. But there are things that I think you shouldn't avoid because of that. But it is hard, and you grow as you do that. And I've lost a lot of people along the way, but then, gained more. So I think with every step and decision that you make, you try to just remain close to your truth and not what everybody else is going to say about it. Unless it's the opinion of someone where you're trying to be, and they're living the lifestyle that you want to live. They're doing the thing and manifesting the money in a way that you want to.
Yeah.
Then I'll sit down with that person and we'll hash it out.
Yeah.
And, not take it to the grave, what they say necessarily, but I at least will take that into consideration.
Yeah.
And then having people to collaborate with. But I think definitely following your truth and just living out loud. And it's just, I feel a tremendous gratefulness to have a body for a little while.
Yeah.
Where, coming back to your first question of who am I on a soul level, I mean, we are, truly the universe, and we're in a body, and we're able to experience ourselves.
Yeah.
And, we see that in each other and our animals and our environment, and our plants and the things that we love, and where we choose to, what we choose to put our energy into.
That was so beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. I feel like I'm completely rambling.
No, I love it. Keep doing it.
And I'm super nervous.
No, you're doing great. So society, culture, politics was the last. So tell me why that's last.
Well, okay, that's a good question, because I feel like on the big scale,
Mm-hmm.
and I maybe need to come down a little bit too, and that is part of my, I don't know, something that I struggle with is remaining grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And I have practices that we can talk about later about what I do to that. But I think on a universal scale all the time, and it's really how I interact with the world. But when I come down to a grounding level, society, social things, and our culture and politics, definitely plays a role. It's kind of like what's the beginning and what's the end? Which way does it stem from? But I absolutely 100% think that community and just being in relationship with other people, face to face, not necessarily online. I think
Right.
online is great. I mean, it's been wonderful for me. I met you via Instagram. So really Instagram, and meeting people online has changed my life. But we have to follow those things through.
Right.
I think to really make an impact, or else you're not really living in reality either.
Right.
If it doesn't manifest itself somehow in a positive way in your life, kind of real world. But I definitely think communities, we need to just kind of, I feel like I need to humble myself. Who am I to answer these questions? But again, it's just my opinion. But
Yeah.
I think if people can just relate on a human level, and that we're all in this together. We all got here the same way. We're all going out. We don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
We've got these amazing bodies that we can touch things and smell things and taste things. And I think just knowing that someone else experiences that too, and they experience pain and love and laughter and hurt and all of, it just brings us together. But I don't know how that needs to change. I wouldn't even dare to begin. On a broader scale, I don't know. That's just a completely depressing subject that definitely needs to be talked about. But as far as I just think it's really sad, and people need to come together for sure.
Okay. Before we move on, I do want to hear a little bit about what you do to ground yourself. Because I feel like we do kind of float around in the ether a little bit, just to get away from
And I definitely do. And now that I work from home, I mean, I'm just in the ether land like all the time, like cloud cuckoo land. So, but I definitely, I open my windows and I try to do everything that I can to stimulate my senses. And that's, a good exercise for anxiety too. And I know we're ridden with anxiety, over the board. So that's, a big issue, I think, for a lot of people. But just, your five senses. Like I try to keep things around me that, are soft and have texture, and I try to eat,
I'm gonna show everyone this rug.
Beautiful, I know this rug, and the dog, and just beautiful foods when I do eat, and just smells, and taking care of my body and going outside and just listening, putting my phone down, and that's a really hard one, and especially for people that are entrepreneurs. We spend so much time online and doing all of the things that it requires, and we're really missing out, so I'll put my phone down. You've got to go outside no matter where you are. I mean, I have sirens up and down the street, and that's fine. It brings you into the moment. Look at the sky. I go out and look at the plants on the side of the street, and the bugs that maybe are on them, and just and I don't use crystals a whole lot for grounding because again, that takes me back up to the ether, and then I get lost in that realm. So I think just taking care of my body, and that type of thing is what really helps me, and I try to do that every day. And then mantras, I've started using mantras, which in the beginning are like total bullshit. I don't know if you use them, but I'll say things like I am, capable, and I am talented, or I am whatever.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily believe it, and you feel kind of crazy when you're saying it, but I just keep repeating it to myself. Generally when I'm going to bed at night is when I do it, and I'll just over and over and over, and I'll write them down, and over time, it really changes the vibration, because I think what we're stressing or ruminating over in our minds, and why we're afraid of grounding and coming back down to earth, or all of these things that come into play. So I think when you ground, you take care of the whole package. You're grounding yourself, you worry about your thoughts as well.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, what you're speaking, I really try to speak positively. I'm not perfect. I mean, nobody does it all the time, but I try to speak positively about myself and about other people and to other people, and it really makes a difference. It really does. Over time. I mean, nothing happens overnight, but at least making a conscious effort.
I love that. Okay, we're gonna draw now.
Okay.
So you're gonna use your iPad.
I'm gonna use my iPad.
A little different. I want you to just tell me what colors, I guess, represent you and your life and the things you love, and the things you hate. I mean, the good and the bad, right? And why you're gonna pick those colors to draw whatever you're gonna draw.
Well, pink is my favorite color, just because it's fabulous, and anything sparkly and holographic and rainbow.
Yes.
But I really like black too, because and I feel like there's just so much beauty and so much depth in it, that really, all other light has to come from darkness. So that's kind of like a deep thing for me. But definitely I'm into a lot of bright colors right now, and rainbows, and again, because it's positive, so I'm like bombarding myself with like positivity, on the daily,
It's a good habit.
It is a good habit. And I don't know, can we talk about like mental illness?
Yeah, you can literally talk about whatever you want to.
Okay, because I don't know where we're going,
like,
but
whatever you want to do.
I've been diagnosed with PTSD and chronic depressive, or severe, depressive, I don't know, the really bad one. It doesn't matter. They're all the fucking, they're horrible.
Yeah.
But a lot of us, suffer from those things. And so in order to, I have to make like a conscious effort every day to get out of the bed and like wash my face and do a face mask and do whatever and keep my apartment clean and buy myself flowers. I buy myself flowers like every other week if I can, and rainbows everywhere. But it just because it's a mental biological pathway, I think that we can kind of reroute that with what we're putting in our environment and what we're telling ourselves. So just a little tidbit out there, but everything's not hunky-dory all the time, and I do struggle with a lot of darkness, like most of us do, so it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but I try to keep it that way as much as possible, because why not? Time, we just don't have a lot of it.
So I'm guessing you're gonna use pink, black, and like a lot of bright.
A lot of bright, definitely a lot of bright. So we'll just see what happens here.
And then at the end, you can just show whatever you drew. Okay, so the first question, what makes you like the most upset? Like what really pisses you off?
Oh my gosh, when people lose their shit. Like when people lose their cool, their composure. And I feel like because at that point, like when people get angry, and it's not that I have a problem with anger, I guess it's how they use it. And when it comes off like aggressively and people are not patient with others. So that I really have a hard time with people that lose their cool and aren't able to have a dignified conversation at that point.
When you get angry, what do you do?
I usually leave the situation, so I don't feel a whole lot of anger anymore, and I think maybe that's because I've eliminated a lot of stressors that would make me angry. So I started to really take stock of my life when I turned 39, because I woke up and I'm like, what the shit? I'm not 23 years old anymore. What do I need to do? I stump my toe on this dresser every morning when I get up, and it pisses me off. Burn the fucking dresser out in the yard, get rid of it, eliminate that stressor. So just really one at a time, from like ridiculous things to, leaving my husband. I've just eliminated things that don't set well, because that's not an emotion that I like to be in, and I feel like it's not very productive. So I think it's fine to be passionate about something, but anger's kind of another level.
Yeah. Okay.
So
what makes you happy?
Oh wow, what makes me happy? It makes me happy when my son is happy. He's 13, so when your teenager's happy, then that's a pretty good day. But I like when I'm happy when I feel like I've accomplished my goals for the day, and I'm real like, I don't know, I guess I'm task oriented, which seems odd to say that about myself, but I don't know, I like when I accomplish things and kind of get my point across in my work, and then something like hits home with somebody, or especially like a child when they see something that I've created and it evokes some kind of emotional response. That makes me really happy.
Okay. If you were a facial expression, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Blue Steel. Do you know Blue Steel from that facial expression? What is that movie called? I can't think of the movie, but he makes like a pouty face every time he
Can you make the face?
Yeah, that's it. And for some reason that face is stuck on me, and every time anybody takes a picture, I always have that fucking face, and I try to not, and it just comes through anyway. So that would definitely, that would be my facial expression. So when in doubt, just keep it fabulous.
Right.
That's
the safe route.
That's the safe route. So that's the way I take that.
What are you most afraid of?
What am I most afraid of? Wow. my first thought to come to mind is failure, but I don't know failing what. You know, how can we really fail at life? Because we've already won.
Wow, that's heavy.
You know.
Yeah.
So really, what is there to fail? I stress a lot about like motherhood because that's pretty crazy that I've got, you know, another consciousness that I'm responsible for and sending out into the world.
And 13 is hard.
13's hard, and they have their own personalities, but wasting time, if I could really think about that answer and not say failure, because I don't know if that's coming from like my ego probably. I would say just not taking advantage of the time that I have. Like, that's a scary thought. Or missing an opportunity because I was scared. So I guess I'm afraid of fear.
Wow.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What's your favorite song right now?
Oh my gosh. It's an old one. It's a classic. But actually, no. Okay, I have two different ones. Can I give you two?
Yeah.
I love No Quarter by Led Zeppelin because it's just a classic and so trippy. But I really love Evil Friends by Portugal the Man. That song is like my very favorite song.
Okay,
right
I need
now.
to listen to that.
Yeah.
I do love Portugal the Man.
Oh my gosh.
I think I've heard that song.
I actually met them one time. I had a friend that worked at a radio station in Knoxville and got me like these special passes, and I got to go listen to their sound check.
What?
And get my picture taken with them.
That's so cool.
It's on my Instagram. It's funny.
I have to go like that.
Yeah, it's in the way back. You got to go way back. But Evil Friends, I love that album and I love that song so much. So yeah, always.
Do you have any weird habits?
The face I make when I get my picture taken is definitely a weird habit, and everyone comments, but I can't stop myself. And it's kind of my look now, so you know, what can you do? That's definitely, I think all my habits are probably weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like an introverted extrovert, so yeah.
Okay.
That's definitely a weird one.
Do you have any vices? Like, what do you turn to when you're really stressed, or what like really helps you take the edge off?
Vices. So I do have vices. Yeah, I smoke cigarettes, which is, you know, not great. And I've definitely quit for like years at a time and always find myself. So yeah, I do that. THC. I am a lesbian, so I do love champagne and will drink champagne anytime and all the time. So yeah, those are my vices, and I don't really go much further than that because you know, I just probably
that's
not
sufficient.
a good idea. But yeah, that's right. I should probably stop there.
Yeah, like that's fine.
But I like to tell myself, you know, it helps like with my work and stuff too. So
yeah.
But yeah, those are my vices. That and crystals.
Yes.
Buying
oh my
crystals.
God.
That's definitely a vice.
Most
for
beautiful
sure.
crystals ever in this place.
Well, you can't have too many
true.
rainbows or crystals. So.
Share an embarrassing moment.
Embarrassing. I'm trying to think of it. I don't really.
If you get embarrassed.
I really don't.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be years ago because I really just don't give a shit.
That's amazing.
But one time there was this big like military presentation thing, and I fell down the stairs in front of everybody.
Oh.
I know that was embarrassing, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't give a shit.
I love it.
I mean, I'm a little embarrassed now because I'm like, this is weird. I'm never on camera, and I'm like, is it, you know, like what's happening with my hair? And
you look great.
Anyway, I mean, it doesn't matter. It like doesn't you know, that's the crazy thing is it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
But why do we care about that silly stuff?
Do you have a 5-year plan?
No.
Okay.
5-year plan. I do.
So
not.
you live in the moment.
I live in I live kind of like. I mean, I have plans for things that I want to do, like in my business, and I mean, yeah, but not like a written down. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't say no. I have things that I want to accomplish and I do put time, not 5 years.
Yeah. Like a year?
So a year maybe?
Okay.
Yeah, like
6
by
months.
December I want to release a deck, an
Oh,
oracle
yay.
deck. Yeah. So I'm hoping to launch a Kickstarter in September
Have
for
you already
that.
started working on it?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm working.
Oh my God.
It's
That's
in the
exciting.
works. It's in the works.
I can't wait to see that. I know it's going to be beautiful.
And then my partner and I want to open a studio, a queer-friendly salon and tattoo studio, and maybe have nails and that type of thing within the next couple years. So yeah, I guess I have things in the works.
Yeah, but you're not like putting crazy amounts of pressure on yourself.
Not yet. I'm kind of a procrastinator. So yeah, when it gets closer to the deadline, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah. You got to keep stuff in the works, especially when you're an entrepreneur.
Oh, I know you kind of already went over this a little bit, but one of the questions is, what do you feel will restore connection? And I know that you said you didn't know, but like, I guess.
Other than what will restore it, I guess
Yeah.
if we can have more deliberate communities, when they're building cities and when they're changing things around, I guess just to facilitate community. But I don't know how that's
Right, like
logistically how that would be done. I think if people listen more, and again, I think that judgment and harshness and anger, I think it comes from a place of insecurity, or people being scared of the unknown, and it threatens their security. If someone's afraid, something unfamiliar. So, and I think when they, have fear, and then it just goes from there.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think what you're doing is a great thing to do. I think just getting people to listen and know that, we're all human and we're all in it together. But I think people just speaking out, and I like that, and especially my son's generation, as they don't give a shit, and they do speak their minds, and it's really hard to parent that generation, to be honest with you, but they're the ones I think that are gonna put their foot down. And because he's so, other than to me, he judges me because I'm his mom, but he's so accepting and so open-minded, and so he just has a completely different worldview, and I think they all do. His friends do, and the people that he associates with in his peer group, and they're just children. I like what I'm seeing in the children, but they do have a shitty run of it, for sure. With what we've left them with, but
Seriously. I'm not even sure if you're self-conscious about anything, but are you self-conscious about anything?
Definitely. I don't care, but I do still have an ego that I battle with. Yeah, I'm self-conscious about everything. I'm self-conscious about my belly button.
Why?
Because to me, it used to be really cute, but then I had a baby, and that's just stupid. It's like, so yeah, I have body self-conscious issues, and I'm self-conscious about my work, and yeah, I do get self-conscious. I don't care, but I do get self-conscious, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop me from doing something, but it definitely crosses my mind to feel self-conscious. So yeah, I think we, unfortunately.
Do you look up to anyone?
That's a good question. My son, really, I guess. 'Cause he's teaching, just teaching me. It's like the new software, like the new download. You know what I mean? So, there are definitely people that I, respect and read their books and whatever, but I don't know that I look up to anyone. Maybe look over to them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I love that. What's missing?
What is missing? For me, or like in general?
Let's start with for you. If you feel like things are missing in general, we can definitely talk about that too. But it's such an open-ended question. I feel like you can like answer
What
it
is
however you
missing?
feel.
I mean, more love. Like, there's never enough, kindness, and for sure, I can't get enough of that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the answer to, to that question for me. Because that, so many things stem from that.
Yeah, and that works for the world as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, the world and everything. You just can't have. It's not missing. Well, it's not missing from my life. Like, it's not like I'm loveless.
Yeah, you definitely got a lot of love.
Got a lot of love, but yeah, I think who can have too much? You can't have too much.
Okay. Are you happy?
I am very happy. But again, I think that's kind of a philosophical, conversation there. Yes, I'm happy. I'm not always content, but I'm definitely happy.
Okay. And the last question, what do you have to say to the world?
What do I have to say?
And I always give people this same scenario.
Okay.
If all of the power went out, but just like the phones and the TVs and the computers and everything were just like PSA, public service announcement, and it was your face. And you literally could say like whatever to the world. Like, what would you say?
I would say don't stress it. Like, just enjoy the moment. Don't stress. Like, whatever you think you're stressing about is really probably at the end of the day, like, not worth it. Because you're using so much energy. Like, take that energy. If I could get a point across to people, that would be it.
Yeah.
It's like, save the energy that you're stressing. Like, you can either do something about it or you can't. So either way, there's no reason to stress. You fix it or you move on, and then use that energy in other ways. Yes. So that's what I would say.
I love that. Okay, I know you're probably not done, but I want to see what you drew.
Okay. So far, let me switch the background to black first real quick and take this off. Yeah, I'm not done, but this is what we've got so far. Rainbows and darkness, yeah. So just doodling. Yeah. Just doodling, yeah.
Can you sign it and send it to me?
For sure. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you.